Yeah, well and truly lowered last week. You know, the Sydney side, they're on top of the ladder by a couple of games for a reason. High quality side. Fair amount to play for too, the Sydney side is last week with both Parker coming back, having not played a game for the year, ex-captain, and Mills, who is their captain, and he hadn't played a game for the year too. So they were, and these are the small margins in the game, and particularly for us, you know, we can't afford those margins to become too big a gap, and they did last week. So in a 3-week time period, we're going to play first, second, and third on the ladder. We got the Blues this week, who are second on the ladder, and then Cats who third. So we're just really focused on this week, of course. But you know, we got 3 really formidable opponents, and we want to be. You know, we failed the test in the first one. We want to be a bit better in the second and third. So we've got the Blues this week, so it'll be a great contest, I'm sure. And we need to be a hell of a lot better than what we were last week. But you know, the preceding 5 weeks, we've been really, really strong in contested ball and making a real contest of the game. And you know, we were in the game for about a quarter against Sydney last week, and then it just slipped away just far too easily for our liking. So hopefully we can be better in that space this week.
Well, the ladder at the moment, you play the third place team 6 weeks in a row. Harry and Charlie got a hold of you last time, kicked 9 goals, 2 or something between them. How do you go about stopping them? Is that the main focus when you take on a Carlton side?
Yeah, well, and yeah, I reckon Carlton probably get a hold of the Dogs last week too if Charlie kicked 7-3 rather than 3-7. You know, so listen, they're great players. They're Coleman Medal winners, and at the minute they're getting pretty good supply. That's why they're sitting second on the ladder. So part of it will be just who their direct opponent is, and can we quell their influence and negate some of their strengths. But a big part of it's going to be how much supply they get. And if they do get a lot of supply, then you've got to hope like hell that Charlie kicks crooked, or Harry does, because by and large, you know, if they get that many shots, they're going to do some damage. So we've got to try and cut the supply, and if we can do that, we'll give ourselves some sort of chance.
Talk about supply. Clarko, it seems like Paddy Cripps is possibly playing better than his Brownlow year. Is there anything you can do to slow their skipper down, or do you back in your mids to get it done?
Yeah, well, same sort of thing. You know, he's just such a big weapon for him. You know, at different stages he's second ruck. So I know they've got the 2 rucks in the side at the present time, but he can play second ruck too, given the size of the guy. So if you tag him, you know, it mucks up your structures a little bit because he's just so big and strong. You really need 2 blokes to take him. So, but if you don't tag him, he can have big influence. So we'll just have to wait and see what we do on Sunday, of course. But he's a big part of why they're going so well.
I think Colby didn't take part in the main session today. Is he okay with the foot?
Yeah, no, he'll. And that's what we're just mindful of. You know, we just want to manage his loads really well. You know, he's just come back into senior footy. He's had a couple of games back now, and we just want to manage his loads. He'll train Saturday morning and hopefully be okay to play. But he's just a little bit domsy from the weekend's game, having not played a hell of a lot of senior footy the last 6 or 8 weeks. So yeah, he'll train Saturday morning, see how he goes.
I'm not going to pretend I watched the VFL, but I did see that you had some good performances in that on the weekend. St. Dursman for one. Can you envision a few changes this week?
Yeah, well, young Durs played some good footy for us, and you know, Will Phil went back and played well. You know, Zach Fisher played well, Griff Logue, Robbie Hanson Jr., Cooper Harvey. So the pleasing part is both our seniors and reserves have played more consistent and competitive footy over the last 6 or 8 weeks since the bye, and that allows you to be able to you know, make spots in the side a little bit tougher to get. So we'll sit down this afternoon and work out our mix. But yeah, we've got some guys who are pushing up with some good form from the reserve grade, and they deserve their chance pretty soon.
Griffin Logue, a good chance to return to AFL level?
Yeah, well, he's played 3 games back now, plus he's had a bye. So yeah, we're just really mindful that we want him to be in the best match fitness he can possibly be in before he comes back in. But particularly this week, he gives some consideration of whether he comes back in, and he's got to take one of those twin towers for the Carlton side, and that could even include De Conning being in there as well. So they've got 3 down there. So we'll work that out this afternoon. But he has played 3 games back now, and he's getting to that level where he's getting the match fitness that we need. But when you're coming up against those guys, you need to be absolutely certain that you're cherry ripe, and there could be a consideration that we just give him another week as well.
The game's evolved over the many years you've been involved in it, Alastair. Do you have any idea of how you coach players to tackle these days?
Well, it's a difficult part of the game. It probably doesn't need my commentary on it as well. But there's usually 120 tackles a game, and it's a significant part of the game. It's a physical component of our game that everyone's loved for a long, long period of time. But we've also got a responsibility to look after the head. And I think what we just need to be careful of is trying to make judgments on every accidental concussion that happens in the game. I watched the game of rugby league last night. That there could have been nearly a concussion in every contact that they had. That's the game, the tribal nature of the game, the combative nature of the game, and in the instances where there's deliberate intent to try to be too physical, then I reckon there needs to be penalties imposed. But when they're supposedly accidental contact and a concussion occurs, then I think the benefit of the doubt needs to go to the player. It is a tough game. Tough game to umpire, tough game to play, and we've just got to try and make some of these things a little bit more black and white rather than be so grey and have the whole competition in uproar about what's going to happen with the game.
Talk about the fabric of the game. Do you think that's overblown, or do you think this is quite important to get right?
I think it'll correct itself. We're talking. As I said, there's 100 plus a lot of other incidental contacts during a game of footy too, like the 2 ruckmen coming together. They could accidentally hit heads. Players coming together at ground level trying to pick up a ground ball could accidentally hit heads. But just the tackling, there's usually about 120 tackles a game, and we cry foul when one is an accidental concussion. I think it can be overblown. I think it'll correct itself pretty soon. That's not to say that we won't get some sort of accidental concussion along the way. But as I said, if there's intent with a player getting hurt, then I think they should be dealt with by the tribunal. But when they're accidental contact, I think we should give the benefit of the doubt to the player. Last week, Heaney, accidental contact. I mean, criminal really that he's not in consideration for a Brownlow medal now because of something that if he played the game this time last year, he gets a fine and continues to play and continue to be eligible. So I think we just got to be careful. We just don't overreact to these things that are happening in the game.
How important is the next 6 weeks as a footy club in terms of attracting talent to your club that you show more what you did in the previous month as opposed to what you showed last week to show that you're a place for prospective talent?
Yeah, well, I think the football world has seen some of the progress that we've made over the last 6 weeks, and our significant challenge for us is if we can do that again and consolidate what we've been able to do and build it and show our fans, show ourselves internally that we're making some steps forward. And if the flip of all that too is that other players can see the worm turning for North Melbourne, and that might be an exciting place to play their footy. If we can attract free agents and targets from other clubs, then that would be a great thing too, because you need to build your list in all sorts of ways rather than just at the draft. So, but we can't really be in control of that. All we can control is the way we go about it as a footy club. And in terms of your question, the next 6 weeks are really, really important. Whether that attracts players from other clubs or not, it's really important because the fabric of our side and our build is already here. We just need to give them games, exposure. We've been trying to do that as best we can. We've got to find a balance with that, of course, but we feel like we're making some progress in that space, and the next 6 weeks is just represents 25% of our season, more or less. So it's a big slab of footy to still be played, and we think we can make significant progress and inroads and help us launch into next year and beyond with the work that we do in the next 6 weeks.